Okay, welcome to week 2 of the, what is it? Something about your authentic self, intuition workshop about your authentic self. This workshop was created because I needed to play. So it's my lightness, it's my playtime, so it brings out a whole other part of me. It's kind of fun. Doesn't matter how miserable I've been all day, but by the time I start teaching this, I'm in a different place, which is kind of good. Maybe that's why I'm feeling so happy too, because I was miserable all day. So that's a hint right there. If you let some stuff out, there's room for happiness. So last week we did some discussion about some small experiments on authenticity. How was last week material for all of you? What's any reflection, insights you wish to share? Any sadness that you worked through because you're kind of going, oh, I can feel some sadness about not being authentic, stuff like that. Selena, go ahead.
I spent Sunday at the river with some family.
Oh, yeah.
And I just really felt more authentic. I just felt more not caring, just talking the way I wanted to with my grandkids and not feeling like I was worried about criticism or for my daughter or her bias in certain areas and stuff. So that felt really good. Huh?
Not self-censoring.
Yeah, exactly. Not what will she think if I say this? What will she think? And the more I'm like that, the more my grandkids love me, which is always nice feedback, right? They're like, yeah, it really, they just open up, they really tell. Boy, they can tell when you're holding back. It's really good. Yeah.
Thank you. Alicia?
I guess in a similar way, different, but similar, in that the word that came up for me last week was feeling constricted if I'm not being authentic. And so basically I realized, oh geez, I'm just imprisoning myself. I'm constricting myself.
Okay.
And so I was also more open and more truthful and not worrying so much about, oh, they're going to cut me off, they're going to reject me. I was less worried about that.
Wow.
Because I know God's not going to do that. At least.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. If there's one person, just one being in this whole universe that loves you, just knowing that is enough to give you a lot of courage. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so for today, I came out with a whole bunch of questions again. So today we're going to explore what authenticity means for you, for each of us. What does that feel like? So that we can start to become familiar with the authenticity feeling, and also when you're not being authentic. So we gotta discover the feeling, and then as we progress, we'll start to explore and develop some ideas that we have about our own authenticity. Then we can do the playtime. So the questions I have for today is, so the first question is, what is authenticity? What does it even mean? So just ask the question, step away, get whatever answer you get, write as much as you want, and then we'll come back.
I'm on my phone without ability to raise my hand, but I would love to share, Mila, when
Hi,
it's appropriate.
Yeah, do you want to? Why don't you start, Vern?
Sure. Okay, so authenticity is the space, creating a space for God's love and laws.
Okay.
Authenticity is my real self in relation with God, in sync with my emotions and feelings, while discovering addictions and behaviors which remove or cover me up from my real self.
Wow. That's I haven't heard you speak in this way before, where your engagement and involvement with God is really strong.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you agree? Have you noticed?
Yes.
Yeah. Is the first time you're speaking this way, where from what I can remember, where the word God is really strong in there.
Wow, that's interesting feedback.
Cool. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Kathy, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. The first thing that came into my head was to thine own self be true. I just remember learning a poem at school, and that was something that rang very strong in my mind and influenced me. So authenticity is looking inward to your true inner nature and finding ways to express yourself.
Yeah.
For me, it's a balance between inner and outer expression or way of being, which manifests joy and a sense of well-being.
Nice.
Yeah. And a discovery of who you were as a very young child when you were truly authentic. So
okay. And you kind of like now have to go back to that child and pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
But I like how you got joy and well-being, which is kind of a very self-nurturing, self-fulfilling experience.
Yeah.
Whatever the feedback from your environment, that right there is already filling you up. That's quite lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jill?
Hi. So I kind of got a confusing answer, and it just might be because that's the state that I'm in. But doing what you want to do, doing and saying what you want to do, ideally within God's laws, but also you can do outside of that as well. And then being secure in your own skin, in your own actions, in your own responsibilities, and in your own beliefs.
Yeah.
So that raised a bunch of questions for me that I'm like, okay, well, if you're secure in your belief that, let's say God doesn't exist, then, and you're doing that, you're saying that, you are allowed to do and say what you want.
Yeah.
Then are you still being authentic?
Ooh, oh, what a good question. That's amazing. That's fantastic. That's a great question. Yeah. I hope you get the answers and come back to me.
I hope so too.
I'll figure that out. Like, that's great. Okay. Well, okay, but if you know that there is a natural love path where you don't have to involve God, you can get all the way to the 6th sphere and have a fantastic life. So
well, but even if you take it to the other extreme and say, like our worst actions.
Yeah.
Some
coming from addictions.
I was thinking more of the people that are like, I believe in killing this person. I have every right to kill this person, and
it's addictions.
And those are addictions. Okay.
So that's not authentic.
Okay.
Addiction facades are not.
Right. Okay. Okay. So that's okay. So that's I guess where my questioning is coming into and understanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
That aspect of it. Okay.
Yeah, but then you can kind of go, if I don't believe in God, can I still be authentic? What does that look like? Like that's brilliant. I love it. Good questions. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, this is where you start to discern going, but this is what I felt like. Well, no, that's your addiction talking. That's not authentic. And then you start to figure out, how do I discern which is addiction, which is real? Yeah, that could take you a long time, but it's really good to be able to discern those things. So yeah, thank you. Casey.
Expressing myself fully without fear, justification, or negotiation.
Yes.
Loving and living fully in my passion and desire while seamlessly communicating with God and her laws, and utilizing and expressing her laws to support me in my growth and learning.
Oh, look at that. Oh, and Jill, I forgot to mention, you got, where's Jill? There she is. You got the word secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I didn't filter.
Yeah, like, oh, look at that word. And for Casey, it's fully, without negotiating or justification. But there's also that while you're in it, you're engaging with God and you're engaging with, how do I do this within your laws? So it's very dynamic. So it's full of conversation. That's kind of cool, Casey. And you are Gemini, node to node in the third house of Gemini. So I think it's a Gemini thing. That's really good. That sounds so exciting. It's kind of your nature, Casey, to check in and chat and talk and ask,
Well, I laughed at the laws because the laws came up twice.
Yeah, you are a one.
And I was like, yeah, I know I'm a one.
That's really cute. Okay, thank you. Selena.
What's coming into my awareness lately is I have watchers, correctors in my families. They watch, they correct. So I really toned my authenticity down in response to that. I'm really starting to pick up on that. So the advice I got today was talk like nobody's watching, move like nobody's watching, laugh like nobody's watching, feel emotion like nobody's watching, except God watching, except God watching his small child be in the world as herself.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. And that, you know what that word is? Freedom.
Yeah, there's freedom. So if they can watch and correct all they want, trying to, feeling my way through that, if that's their injury or whatever, and they need to do that.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I can just feel the freedom that comes from, like, wow, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Anybody else wants to share what they got for what authenticity means? Alicia.
Well, it may be similar to everybody else in little ways, but the biggest thing for me is remembering when I was a child, when I really had no idea about God and God's laws.
Okay.
When I was a little child, but I think that's probably when I was most authentic. So somehow being authentic is partly to do with me remembering that true nature when I was very young, and allowing those things that I was naturally being or naturally doing to be that and do that now more.
Okay.
But with more awareness of the fact that actually God is helping me with this, and to be aware of all the parts that I'm being less authentic in. But that remembering that childhood way when I had no awareness feels important.
Well, this seems to be you getting you're getting two similar messages. Go back to where you left off in your childhood and pick up where you left off. Similar message.
Yeah.
Be childlike, like go back to, like, literally you're being told to go back to who you were as a child and pick up where you left off.
Yeah, actually that was from last week because I got to dance and sing and write. Well, I didn't write as a kid so much, but dance and sing I definitely did. So I have been doing that this week.
Oh.
Without worrying about anybody watching, because nobody was anyway, except God, of course.
That's amazing. Thank you.
So cool. Thanks.
Jennifer, do you feel like sharing what you got? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I will. Thank you for asking. A couple of things really simply were just being true to my needs. And part of it was also being in the messy spaces and all of the emotions, whether they're positive or negative. And I often think and feel very visually and very metaphorically. And I had an image of a river come, and the difference between a natural river that spills its banks and moves and changes and shifts versus a hardened shoreline and an engineered thing and something really constructed. And there was the two different feelings, and the natural river was that felt,
Yeah. I like that you got the being true to your needs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big message right there for you. Wow. And be okay with the messiness. Oh, there's a wild Jennifer coming out soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move to question 2. Question 2 is, what is my current level of desire to becoming authentic? What is my current level of desire to becoming authentic? I forgot to share my answer from the first one. What I got for authenticity is it's an embracing, cherishing, and enjoying my unique perspective and sharing it by expressing it, even if no one is looking, even if no one's around, and even if nobody wants it. It is an intense experience of my own nature. It is a moment-to-moment state of beingness that flows and fluctuates and radiates. It's a joy of experiencing myself as it is expressed. So it's like I get to experience myself by expressing it. And as it's expressed, I get to experience the joy of it. It's a celebration of what makes me me. And there's inner satisfaction. There's a lot of satisfaction from it. That's what I got. Okay, so for second question, what is my current level of desire to becoming authentic? Who would like to go? Jill.
This one kind of surprised me. So I feel I have a high level of desire to become authentic, but still lots of fear. And then I got a visual of starting on a new path, but it's unfamiliar, dark, closed in, like walking in a forest at night. So unfamiliar sounds, don't know, can't really see that far ahead, don't know what's going to happen. But I'm walking with just a little bit more confidence. Okay. So, and something keeps me going, which I'm realizing is my faith. Yeah. I'm not in this one is the part that actually really surprised me. I'm not in fear for my life. Okay. Just in fear of the unknown and what this new path means. Okay. So the not in fear for my life actually really surprised me because I've been living there for a very long time. Yes. So
leave.
What's that?
Fear does leave, like it leaves you, and then at some point it's no more.
Yeah.
It's not something you live with.
Yeah. So that was kind of nice, and just but just the fear of unknown, like but there's an excitement there as well.
Absolutely.
A little tempered right at the moment, but yeah, there's still an excitement there as well.
I feel like being authentic means you don't know what's coming out of you at any moment. So I think that's part of it, because there's some fears I have inside of me that I don't know who's coming out of me. I don't know what that looks like. So that unknown and expressing I don't know what's coming out is probably part of the journey. So it's really cool. Okay, thank you. Others? Alicia. Oh, you mute.
It's a good job I talk with my hands. I feel like a pot boiling up and ready to burst open. Oh. So I guess that's like desire, wanting to be, but and feeling like I perhaps was more in the past, but maybe that was also more facade and not really my authentic self was. Yeah. But it's always been something that I've said to people and thought about for myself. Yeah. But I can see that I've had a lot of fears. I still have a lot of fears to release. And thank you for mentioning the fear of life, because that's something I realize that's fine, because we know life continues, so it's fine.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes. And if you can like name your fears too, right? And like start to name all the fears you have.
Yeah.
All right. But I like that you're feeling
I've got a long list.
Yeah, okay. And that you're feeling the sense of like it's bubbling over. It's like building and building now. I'm like at this place of I have to express myself.
Yes, it's ready to like.
Oh, can't wait to meet that Alicia. That'd be lovely. Thank you. Who else? Selena. Oh, you mute? You're mute.
Yeah, I asked my guide. We're doing that, right? Still doing that? Asking these questions of our guide.
Oh, yeah, that is who we asked.
Yeah.
That is
okay. So she says, oh, it's her. Yeah, you have some fear of being pushed down, trying to predict what someone else might think of your authentic behavior and triggering them. But if you stay in an authentically loving space, so that's really what I need to do is stay in my, like, check myself. Was that loving? Well, if they're triggered, that's fine, because I was fine. So it's okay if your behavior triggers others when it's outside of their comfortable definition of who you are. That's what we've done in our facades. We create these definitions, and then when you start pulling out of them, people go, stop that.
Yeah, you're frightened.
And they're trying to correct you and stuff, and then you go, oh, okay, what did I do?
Wow. So what you're getting is that your desire is strong.
Yes. My desire is strong, but I still have fear of being squashed. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Casey.
So I was shown a little like seedling under the dirt, under the soil.
Okay.
That's trying to push through.
Yeah.
And so I asked what that meant. Basically my desire is slowly growing, but the way to grow it is to feed it. And what I'm currently feeding are my addictions, more than my desire. And the addictions are actually helping me avoid all of my fears around being authentic.
Good one. Okay. That's beautiful. So name your fears. It's really important to identify and name the fears to being authentic. And then release the fear, process the fear, release it, get rid of it. Like you're getting rid of, you could try to overcome it, you could try to work through it, you can try to push through it, you can act despite the fear. All that is cool. But I think it's just more energy efficient to just process the fear, and then you have less things to overcome. But I am a 6, so everything is about processing fear. So that's really good, Casey. Thank you. Alicia.
I had the first thing that came to me was, there's a song that comes to me very often, and it came this time, and the words are, try not to get worried, try not to turn on to things that basically upset you. And there was a message of try not to grasp for things and work hard at them and surrender more and allow more.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oof, I can just feel some fear coming up right there going, oh, what do you mean? No, I got to grasp. I like that word. Am I grasping right now? Or am I surrendering? I can feel my own fears coming up just with the idea. Yeah, okay. Some fears to release there. Thank you. I got that my desire is medium low. So it's kind of medium, but on the low side, because I false believe that it is exhausting to be coming from so much energy all the time. When I'm authentic, I'm full of energy. There's a lot of, and it's an energizing place. And I feel like it's going to be too exhausting to be coming from so much energy all the time. And I feel like people will be overwhelmed by my positivity, because when I'm authentic, I'm also pretty positive. I feel I will become weird and will put people off, weird them out. And I don't know who's going to emerge, like who's coming out. What is this nature that's going to emerge out of me? Will I like her? Who is this? Is she appropriate to be released right now? So these are the blocks that are coming out of me. Jennifer.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for sharing that, because the thing that came up for me is, am I going to be able to handle this?
Oh, can you define? Can you clarify?
I don't know that there was a fear there, and I'm scared of myself.
Yes.
And I'm scared of the new relational places, like relating to myself, relating to others, relating spiritually, relating romantically. Like there is just this am I going to be able to handle it? Because it feels like so much. So.
Absolutely. Which is what Selena is doing. She's going ahead and being herself and letting people be like, who are you? What are you doing? You're too much. So she's already going ahead with like living that out in small ways. And then that's what you're exploring. Like, oh, Jennifer, you're becoming aware that, wait a minute, if I become authentic, that's what's going to happen, potentially. So that's really good. Yeah. But the more you start to experience how juicy the authentic place is and how inwardly satisfied and nourished you are in yourself, the more you're going, you know, one of us will be happy. If I'm not authentic, both of us are unhappy. So just things to explore as you go. I think the more we experience the authenticity, the more we start to fall in love with how juicy that place is, how good it feels to be you. And then you start getting healthy, and then, you know, you start attracting opportunities, and life starts to flow, and then off you go. The next thing you know, the world has been waiting exactly for what you have to offer. It was the exact solution needed, the exact peg to solve something. Boy, that's going to be so satisfying if you discover that about yourself, that you're born here in this time, in this place, in this way. Ooh, if I discovered that about myself by the time I pass, oh, that's going to feed me for the next 300 years. I'll be like, yes, that was so good. Okay, so the next question is, what examples can I have from my past when I have been authentic? Give me examples from my past when I have been authentic, so that you can know what it feels like. Okay, question. What example can I have from my past when I have been authentic? Bern, do you wish to share?
Okay, so I have what came up for me was the birth of my children. Yeah. And that experience, I think it had me, I was connected to, felt like angels that were escorting the children in, the babies in, and then checking in on them and leaving.
Okay.
So that was available there. And then also when I was a child, looking up into the ceiling of my bedroom and seeing things and just feeling like it was magical.
Huh.
So those feel very much examples of being authentic, very connected to things that you can't hear or see. So when I'm rushing around.
Your connection to spirit guides.
Spirit guides.
Right? That's perhaps what you're describing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, you do not usually expose this part of yourself at all, Bern. This is really cool.
Yeah.
We're going to have some different kind of conversations next time.
I'm remembering a lot lately. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Bern.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, Shana.
So I got an interesting answer that was, you know them. That was the voices that I heard. You know the examples already, and I do know. I had three experiences actually, but two memorable ones of when I totally felt myself almost as though I was a young child, unencumbered and without any veils, but for very small snippets of time, maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds I had. And then I also had a similar occasion when I met a friend of mine. And then after I was thinking, I was to start to second guess, and I got the advice the key is the spontaneity. Yeah, the spontaneity, then you know.
So just like Alicia, you're also being encouraged to go back to that childlikeness. Or maybe that's what it is like for all of us. Maybe that's what that means. Being authentic is being childlike. That's cool. That's really cool, Sushama. Thank you. Kathy. Oh, you mute.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I related to Bern with the birth of the children, because this is a time where you cannot put up any facades. This is your true self expression. So that was a strong one. And then childhood experiences. One was at 14, I was very shy at school, but at 14, I decided to do a skit.
Okay.
Because I went to a Catholic school and I dressed up as a nun and we did this interview. I was a leaping nun, and I thought I'm either the nuns will love it or they'll expel me, but they actually loved it. So it was.
Oh my God.
But it was, it's such a shock to my peers and the teachers knew me as a very shy, inward introvert. So I just remember on stage feeling so real, and this is what I love, and this is fantastic, just being someone, it was myself, but within a character.
Yes.
And sharing that. But the best part is bringing that laughter out of people. Like, I just thought, this is great. You can make people laugh. I love this. This is so perfect.
And you help people laugh at themselves, basically.
Yeah.
Not take so seriously. And now just go, imagine if I lived like that, say 6 hours a day, because I'm going to be exhausted, or people will be exhausted of me. But imagine doing that every day. What would that be like?
Yes.
Wow.
Just to capture that feeling anyway.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Okay. Others? Selena.
Well, I think the first thing that came up for me was how sad I was that there's so few.
Yeah.
So few. I had one cousin, and we were both misfits.
Okay.
But I just have never had fun with anybody. We just would laugh and laugh and laugh and dance, and just, I don't know what we laughed at, but we just thought each other was hilarious. Nobody else in the world thought I was hilarious, but we just loved each other. Wow. So that's my best memory, and I wish there was more of those. And it's funny when she's was that Stephanie? Is that her name? That just spoke? Yeah, that just spoke about performing. Yeah, performing. I had that experience too. That was very interesting. Just in a class, it was a group project, and I played the role of a rebellious pregnant teenager talking to her parents with the therapist, like with the counselor, and being all like, and having had that experience with my children, and it was it just felt so good to play that role and to be somebody else, and everybody was just like, wow, who were you? They're like, yeah, they were shocked, because like that it was so convincing at the age of 50 or whatever that they actually got into it, I was that person. Yeah, so that was really fun.
See, what's interesting is that we're always playing a role, but then we will play a role to become ourselves. And then we let ourselves in the role so that we can turn off the role we're playing in society all the time.
That's interesting when you talk to actors, what great insights they often have. And that's probably why, because they get into these roles and they learn more about themselves when they're in the role. Yeah, that's cool, eh? Yeah.
Thank you. Jill.
I still have a hard time with this sort of looking back and at myself back then. A lot of fear came up. Some of the questions that came up in that fear is, what if there was no part of my past when I was being authentic?
Yeah.
and then on the opposite side of that is, what if I was mostly authentic? Because I look back and I'm like, I don't really like that person that I was when I was a teenager or a young adult. I don't resonate with her. So, you know, I those are some of the questions that I came out. But some of the a couple of the things that did come up was an expression of self, which is how I do that through drawing and writing, and so that is a part of the authentic self. And then I got water. I don't know if that's to be able to find my authentic self through water, or just go and play in more water, something like that. I'm not 100% sure where that was going, but yeah, it was very difficult for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you named the fears that were making it difficult to get the answers.
Yeah, and I'm going to go into those more with some more time, but yeah, I mean, they both make me very, very sad. But yeah, I think I'm going to spend some time there. Yeah.
So I got the examples that I got surprised me, and I kind of, well, I'm hiding from what I learned from last week, is that I'm hiding to the point where I don't even know what I'm hiding, that I'm hiding myself so well I don't know what it is. But the examples I got make me kind of go, oh, these are not things I would ever share with anybody. And I'm like, yeah, that's called hiding. But it drives everything I do. So one example I got was that when I got the divorce and I knew I needed to go back to school, one of my motivation, a very strong motivation, was that because there's so many unpleasant genetic illnesses passed down from both sides of the family, I need to prepare to help my children with whatever that may come forth. So that it was a big motivation to become a doctor so that I could prepare and help them as potentially any of these genes may wake up in them. So that was a big motivation, and it was surprising that that was me being me. That's my authentic self. And now I have a very strong desire to process my emotions so that I can help my kids heal. That's also me. Allowing myself to reflect and receive God's love, which I do very sparingly, is also my authentic self. So it's very, very charged and very emotional. The examples are giving me a clue to my nature. I just have a strong desire every now and then that I want to help people succeed. Every now and then I get very like, well, basically from the answers I'm getting, what I'm getting is that astrologically I have a very strong Pluto aspect, which is mostly unpleasant because a lot of my addictions are based on it. But my authentic selves come from the Pluto aspect as well, because that's the dig deep into my soul and forge ahead. Don't take no for an answer. It's also very Pluto. So it's very surprising to get this answer. I got to think about it some more. Like, yeah. So next question. Give me examples for when I'm not authentic. sorry, just so we can compare the feelings. We got to know what they both feel like. So let's go do that. All right, answers to the question, what examples can I have when I'm not authentic, are, well, the answers I received have rocked my boat. I am kind of shocked and very confronted by it. Ooh, all my facades being exposed. I thought I was a good person, like, come on. So I'm a little bit upset right now. And that's okay, it all starts with tantrums. Who wished to share? Alicia?
That was good. I don't think I even put my hand up.
What? I have witnesses.
Oh, well, I think I was just moving my hands. But anyway, I'll go ahead.
If I can watch the video, I go, no, that was a hand raise.
I believe you. But generally for me, the last question was more like a gamut of memories came, like images. Oh. This time, and there was a lot of truth and creative expression, but mostly again, it came from childhood and then snippets through adulthood. This time was similar, but less images and more of feelings of feeling tired. And when I'm inauthentic, I feel like I'm tired and I'm wobbly. Wow. I lock myself away and feel stagnant and find it hard to take action. I feel demotivated, and I feel when I feel like, again, I can see this from childhood, when I feel like I've been coerced into agreeing with something, and I become demanding and needy, and when I've, instead of expressing myself, I've hidden myself away and run away, and I've pretended to be happy eating my food as a child, for example, or happy to play on my own. I pretended that, so I haven't been authentic. So, but generally it was quite a heavy feeling, and I have no doubt there are plenty of things to dive into with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a question that I'll keep on giving.
Thank you for the question.
Ooh, yeah, it's I feel eviscerated by the answers with this one. It's just so shocking for me, but in a good way. It's like, ooh, ouch. Who else wants to share? Well, maybe I should share first. Thank you, Alicia. Your sharing was really good. Like, it's kind of normalizing that we are all feeling a little bit like, whoa, this was rough. So when I make wishes or prayers for people to help people, but it's coming out of anxiety. I think I'm being caring, but it's actually anxiety. And also when I go into these feelings that God is not going to help me, I get like a little bit like naggy, like, oh, God is not going to help me with this. I'm being inauthentic, which is something I got to think about. When I'm in my mind and I'm trying to sort it out through my mind, yeah, that is not real. And also when I'm trying to find my role in life so that I can be a good person. I'm just looking for the role. What role can I play here is inauthentic. So looks like I have a facade, another facade discovered, which is that I am helpful and caring for people. But no, that's inauthentic. So that will be quite a shocking thing to work through. Yeah, I gotta keep going into this question. This was quite, yeah, thank you. Casey.
Much like yours, I'm gonna have to keep going outside of this call because I feel like I could have kept going.
Yeah.
So the kind of main point that I was recommended to focus on immediately, when my motivation is trying to please someone in order to get something out of an interaction or relationship, particularly when I sacrifice myself to do so.
Ooh, wow.
That was the biggest one that they're kind of saying to focus on because I do that a lot.
Yeah.
And then I was also given, I think Alicia mentioned this, clues to when I'm not being authentic, when I'm exhausted, when I'm hiding, when I'm distracting myself a lot, and when I'm impulse shopping, whether it's food or items.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Good examples, good clues to just stop and go, yeah, I'm not authentic right now. What's going on? What am I really feeling? And even just connecting to what I'm assuming that if you just stop and go, what am I really feeling then right now? And also, I think if you're feeling tired, you're feeling down, that's already showing you that you're in an addiction or that you're not getting your addiction met. So you're feeling down, or it's a compensation from the addiction. I don't know how to break this stuff yet. So definitely, yeah, those are good clues, because we're being authentic. We're getting all these answers of how juicy we feel, how energized we feel. And then we have this other thing where you feel flat and you're like, oh, okay, that's a good clue right there. We feel flat a lot. Okay, thank you, Casey. Anybody else want to share? No, that we're all like, yeah. And Jill.
Yeah, this one kind of stopped the boat short. It's like not just put the brakes on, brakes, emergency brake, everything, just stopped it. Yeah, this question really, the way I wrote it down was playing into my self-punishing addiction.
Oh,
so
yes.
This is, yeah, like I could have wrote pages and pages and pages on how bad of a person I am. But that would have gone into my self-punishing, right? So I have to, like yourself and Casey and probably a lot more, that I have to stay here, that there's a lot more here than I just wrote down. But the one thing that I kind of got out of it was giving everything away, and that everything meant giving myself away. So through giving my energy away, giving my help away, making others feel better, all of that, I'm just giving it away. And I don't know how to answer the rest of that question. I'm not either.
Because then you go, wait, if I was being authentic in that moment, what would I be doing instead? Which is a good question to ask right there, going, okay, so if I think I'm caring for people, but I'm being anxious, what would have been the authentic thing then? What would that be? So you're already identifying the inauthenticity, stopping it in its tracks, and then going, so what's the alternative? What's me? So I think that's where the turning point is going to be, which is why we need to discover the inauthentic tentacles and then stop engaging it, and then start asking, well, then what does it look like if I was being authentic right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Kind of like if somebody says, well, I need your help, it's like, do I actually feel like giving it? Do I not? Like, am I exhausted and I don't have anything, I'm just giving everything else away because I'm, I have nothing left for myself. I don't have answers to those questions, but I have to stay here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good one. Thank you. Kathy.
Okay. So I went straight into the past, and I didn't really read the question saying for when I'm not authentic in the present.
Yes, that's okay.
The question was really in the present, but I went straight into the past, and I was looking at past relationships, failed marriage, failed relationships in the past, where I've gone in because I realized what I was always doing was falling for the idea of love. So I would put, the facade would be there that this is who this person is. So I'm going to try to fit into that mold. And I did that with my past marriage and various, and I would often provoke violence out of these men because I didn't become the person they thought, I was. They could see through my inauthenticity, or their expectation of me. I didn't live up to, whatever. So there was a lot of violence in those past relationships. But what I realized, that was my addiction, that the pleasing that everybody has been talking about, pleasing others. And it's a very typical female thing for my era. So it's very confronting.
Yeah.
Because now I'm looking at my present relationship, but my husband calls me out on it.
Oh, wow.
He knows when I'm not being authentic. And blaming them, blaming the family when I'm exhausted or frustrated or whatever. Well, take yourself away, do what you need to do for yourself. Don't blame us. So yeah, it's confronting. So this is good.
I had no idea how confronting this question was going to be. They set me up. I'm telling you, it's not my fault. These questions are good. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do the last question then. Though I should have developed more questions out of this one question, but I think we need to sit in the discomfort and keep digging into this beautiful platonic question. So the last question is, what are the role of emotions in becoming authentic? All right. What are the role of emotions in becoming authentic? I've kind of been feeling like emotions are important and you got to find your emotions and feel them and on and on. But boy, this question have really locked it in viscerally and visually that actually you can't, you don't have a choice about it. Like it's such a beautiful imagery that if I needed to be more convinced about the role of emotions, this was the final piece of the puzzle. Oh boy. Okay. So Shana.
So I was quite surprised because at first I got a word regurgitating, and then I was kind of puzzled and confused. But then, similar to what you had prefaced, you know, my sharing is about feeling the emotions. And then I got singing out loud and singing out proud. And then I had a vision, an image of white light bursting out of my heart space.
Wow.
And then back to words, emotions can't be clamped. They need their full expression and no eating emotions.
Okay. Wow. That's beautiful. Okay. So are you convinced? Did it convince you, Sashana? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Who else wants to share? Jill.
Yeah, I kind of got very similar to you is it's everything. And then I noted, yes, I used that word again. So I put a little star beside it. You can't be authentic without them, okay. Without emotions. And then it came to me, it's one of God's laws. I don't know if I'm judging it. I'm sorry. It's how you tell if you are in addiction or authenticity. Wow. So like if you say, I think, that's a preface to your addiction. If you say, I feel, that's a preface to your authenticity.
Okay.
As far as I got.
And did that convince you? Like, did that make you feel like, oh yeah, no, this has got to be?
Oh yeah, I was pretty convinced before. So this was, yeah, the feeling was just like, well, excitement for one, like, oh, good, we get to answer this question. Yay. And then it was kind of like, duh, of course it's important. Okay. So yeah, that was, yeah.
But I'm curious if the experience of the answer make you really lock in within you, from your perspective, oh yeah, I'm convinced now.
Yeah. It helped with not being afraid of the fear. I don't know if that makes sense, but it helped in that front anyways. I don't know if I'm still 100%, but you know, I'm getting there. Yeah.
Gosh, wow. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Others? Alicia.
They're your true north, your guiding star, taking you into an awareness for beyond your present reality of who you think you are or who you think you ought to be or even want to be. Wow. Emotions are fundamental. They show you when you are sometime, when I can't read my writing, when you are whatever, when you're inauthentic or when you're not being, or when you are authentic. All you have to do is become more aware and always ask God how she feels about you and your thoughts and your feelings and actions. Huh. All unsure.
Wow. North Star. Emotions are your North Star. How did that make you feel to get that?
Yeah, that's narrowed the path, let's say.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And it's an internal guidance system. So you don't need to look around you for validation or clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Who else wants to share? Yeah. Casey?
This is my first abstract, or started out as abstract one of the night. So I was first shown like an old-timey cartoon of like these little people cleaning off these really old phone lines.
Okay.
And what I felt was that my emotions are cleaning off the lines of connection to God.
Wow.
So the more I can be in my emotion, the more I have a direct connect to God. Oh. When I suppress my emotion, the lines get muddied.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And does that analogy work for you? Does it get you like, okay?
Oh, so I'm the one that's not connecting to God.
Yeah, that answers that question. Hey.
Just a little.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Well, my answer was that I froze at different times, many different times in my childhood in response to strong emotional experiences. And I need to go back to those places and move those emotions again so that I can continue developing from that time onward. Until that emotion starts flowing again, I just can't move on. I can't live in a different place. The thread has to be found and picked up. The flow has to continue from when it froze. It's like saying a part of my river froze at a certain point. I can't just go a kilometer up the stream and go, I'm just going to continue my river from this point on. There is no river. There's no water. It's waiting over there in the back. So I have to go find that part where it froze, move it so that there's actually water to then flow the river. So it's like that imagery was so clear that it's like I'm walking on a dry riverbank. I can't say, where's my flow? You got to go back to where it stopped and get it flowing again, which means start to feel that river in all the specific places where it stopped. So I do have to go back to all these experiences. And so now I feel even more like every time I go back to an emotion or a memory, fear is waiting for me again and again and again and again. And now I really get why I got to go back and feel those fears, because I need to find that frozen part of the river and get it moving again. Because the idea of me picking up my pieces downstream now makes no sense because there is no water. How? Like, hello. So that really locked it in for me as in why those childhood emotional places needs to be found and needs to be, I usually use the word thaw. You gotta thaw it, like frozen stuff gotta get melted again. But that imagery has really had an impact on me. And like now I feel a desperation and urgency to go back to those places and find those frozen places and get them moving. I see it now. So cool. If I wasn't convinced why emotions were necessary, I'm now gonna find my soapbox, stand on it, and preach to the masses. You gotta do this. Okay, so, well, we got a lot of stuff to think about, hey, from our answers today. Okay, well, be good to yourselves. We don't have a choice about how our early childhood experiences froze us. We only had the option of denying it or not denying it and then trying to repair. But you're never alone in your experiences when you want to start repairing. Never, ever alone. It's a lot of energy. And you're going to find you. You're going to find the juicy, juicy part of you that will fulfill you the most. So I have no idea what we're doing next week, because based on what just happened today, I'm going to have to probably design a process to allow for this stuff to be worked on. This is why I couldn't do an outline. I kept going, I usually have an outline for all the workshops, and what's going on with this one? It's like, oh, well, yeah, no. This has gone to a whole other direction I didn't see coming. Thought I was having fun. This was supposed to be my playtime. But there's no river, it's a dry riverbank, so hello. Alicia.
I thought we were missing next week.
No, it's gone.
Oh, okay, good, great.
Because I can't go anywhere. It's blocked from tomorrow. There are going to be cops on the highway. Urgh. So yes, we're going to have 5 sessions. Today's number 2. And obviously we need all 5 instead of just 4. Okay.